Hello, this is Paulo Arias with International Relocation Partner, and today we are here with John Michael Artur. And basically, what we're trying to do every week, we are trying to bring information for the expat community in Costa Rica. We talk about different topics. We talk about sometimes about real estate or immigration, or sometimes we interview. Our past customers and friends that already experience what's to become an expat and what's to be in Costa Rica. And I met Michael, John Michael. I met him at through the expat groups once. You know, the first, you guys know there is this big community of expat groups, and we'll ask questions about what's to live in Costa Rica, what about my pets, what about where should I move in, all these things. And he's always been very helpful. You know, he's always been, somebody has a question, so he will always comment. I noticed something else. He will also send pictures about his the things he's cooking. He's cooking, I don't know, I can remember your cheese, different things. So, and then in person, I met him at the International Living event, and I was very glad to meet him in person. And I think he's got a lot to say. And I consider John a 360-degree expat, and it's got a lot of things to say. First, John, say hi to our audience and give us a little feedback. You know, what are you? You retire? What are you doing? I want people to relate with you. I mean, I know there is somebody else, somewhere in Canada, somewhere in Oklahoma, that may connect with your personal experience through this video.
Okay, sure. Let me just tell you a little bit. Well, I mean, I'm from the United States. I grew up in Texas, spent my whole life in Texas. And I was basically the American dream success story. I came from a very poor family. I was the first person to ever go to college. I sent myself through college. I went to medical school. I went back to my little hometown to practice medicine. I practiced medicine for 30 years. And then it got to the point that the American dream was killing me. It was becoming the American nightmare, because trying to keep up with everything, keep up with the Joneses and keep up with appearances and trying to do and then, everything was just changing for me. The political system is broken. I don't care which side you're on. The medical system is broken. Believe me, from an insider, it doesn't work the way it should anymore. And I was just ready to leave, looking for some adventure. And so I said, it's time to, start a new chapter in my life. I remember when I was in high school, I took one of those aptitude tests, and I remember one question in particular that they asked me, and they said, would you rather be famous and be an expert in only one field, or would you rather know about everything and not have any fame? Wow. And I knew then what I still believe today. I wanted to be a Renaissance man. I'd rather learn about everything, know about everything, do everything. I don't care whether anybody else knows about me or not. That's just what I wanted to do. And I couldn't really do that with the lifestyle in the States. One of the big differences is in Costa Rica, people here work so they can live. In the United States, it's gotten to be that you live so you can work. And that's just backwards, Pablo. And so, so here, I can be that person. I've retired from medicine, and we have a farm here with a nice river that runs through the property. And so I can do all the things I want to do. I raise animals. I have goats. I make homemade cheese. I finally wrote a cookbook I wanted to do. I have all the gardens that I have planted. I did all the remodeling work in the house here. So I can be that Renaissance man here in Costa Rica. I can do what I want, how I want to do it, when I want to do it, and I just feel completely fulfilled living here. So that's a little background. I don't know if that makes sense.
And this is a question. This is a question that I do almost to every person that I talk to, and I talk to a lot of people through our relocation services. We do international shipment, as you know, but there's always this question, why did you decide to move into Costa Rica? I mean, there is a huge globe, there's a lot of choices, and it always, and through the years, more and more people, Costa Rica, I like this, I like many different things. I even heard, people that's got some healing stories because they changed their lifestyle and now they're more connected with nature for whatever reason, I hear these stories. I remember another gentleman that he make his marriage work because he was able to escape to Costa Rica for a few weeks, and now they feel like teenagers again. But I want to ask you, what was your point that connects you to Costa Rica? How did you get here?
Well, like I said, I was ready to move, ready to retire, and I knew I wanted to try to move outside the country. I spoke Spanish, so it made sense to move to a Spanish-speaking country. And I have 8 grandkids and three kids and 8 grandkids. So I didn't want to be too far away. And so I didn't want to live in Europe, and I didn't want to live way in South America because it's just too many hours to get back and forth. So I started narrowing my search down, and every time I looked at a country, I would compare it to the other one, and Costa Rica would always rise to the top of the list. So I'd look at Ecuador and Costa Rica would come to the top. I looked at Colombia and Costa Rica would always come to the top. Always over and again, Costa Rica would rise to the top for a lot of reasons. I mean, Costa Rica has a few warts, but so does your Uncle Marvin, and you still love him. So, I mean, for me, Costa Rica is as perfect as I can get. The climate is perfect. The people are kind. The weather is just fantastic. Everything grows. It's close enough to Texas. I can be there in 3 hours. People come and visit. And then the other thing about Costa Rica that the other Central American countries don't have, I always say Costa Rica is like Epcot. And what I mean by that, Pablo, is that when you're at Epcot, it's like you're in Japan, and suddenly, everything looks like Japan, and you just turn the corner and now you're in Germany. Everything's totally different. And then you just turn the corner and now you're in Mexico. Costa Rica is like that because only in Costa Rica can you be at the top of a volcano, and an hour later you're in a rainforest, and an hour later you're at the beach, and an hour later you're in a cloud forest, an hour later you're in a river valley, an hour later, you're in a plantation of coffee or banana. Costa Rica had, and all those climates, all those views, different. So it's exciting. It's wonderful. I will never move back to the States. I'm here for good.
That's great, and I'm really glad. And these stories like you, it really fills me in. It kind of gives me more of a purpose of what I'm doing. Well, I'm helping people make this move, and it gives me this good feeling that I'm helping somebody that is making their dreams come true. And it's true. Costa Rica, it's small, and because we are in a very small country, I can be in San Jose, and in a couple of hours, I could be in the Arenal volcano, or I could be in anywhere. So it's interesting. You have a lot of choices. Now, I wanna talk to and talk to people about your location, because I think your location is special, and I really like every time I go to your area. It's a small little valley, and I remember like last time when there is a lot of history in the valley. There is, the landscape is beautiful. But just tell me, and I do consider a lot of expats do not even think about Orosi as a place to move in, but it's really beautiful. There are rivers, beautiful landscape. No, it's not as far from the Central Valley, so maybe an hour away from San Jose, or maybe 30 minutes to a main. You can get big malls and movie theaters if you want that within 30 minutes, and you still have all this nature around you.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think most people think Costa Rica is just nothing but beaches, Pablo, but 75% of the population lives in the Central Valley, and if you include the rest of the country, less than 10% of people live on the beaches. Most of us live in the mountains. And so I like to visit the beach, but I didn't want to live on the beach. So here in the mountains, it's cool. My days are perfect. Like today, I don't know if you can see, but it's sunny and bright, and we're in the rainy season. And, where I live, our overnight lows are about 60 degrees every night. And our highs every day are about 76, 78, something like that is a high. So for me, that's just perfect temperature, perfect weather. And most people don't know about this little valley, Although it's one of the earliest populated areas of all of Costa Rica. The indigenous people knew this area. There's lots of natural water stream, lots of water features, the nature. It's a protected valley. So it's really a great area. And the other thing is it's centrally located. I mean, we are dead smack in the middle of the country. You know that, Pablo. East, west, or north, south. So anything that we want to do, it's great. I like it because, yes, it's rural, but within our little town, you have everything you need for daily life. But like you said, in 30 or 40 minutes, I can be at 4 major malls with everything North American malls have. There are 4 or 5 different big mega movie plexes. I can see all the first run movies. I can do all the shopping if that's what I want. I don't even have to go to San Jose because Cartago, the Spanish colonial capital of Costa Rica, is right here in my backyard. So for me, it's ideal. Each person has to find what's perfect for them. And when I decided on Costa Rica, I spent 3 years traveling all around the country, investigating all the different areas to find out where was right for me.
That's great.
And this was the place. But for some other people, they might come and they say, oh, it's beautiful, it's pretty, but it's not right for me. You just have to find the right vibe for you. But I do believe that the Orosi Valley is one of those hidden jewels that most people don't know about. But you can't tell anybody because all of my neighbors say, don't tell, it's our secret. So it's just between us, okay? Don't tell anybody.
This is gonna be live. This is gonna be in YouTube and Facebook, right? This is
but those people, they won't tell anybody, I'm sure.
It's something else. I want to point a couple of different things. A lot of people I notice they move into Guanacaste, Tamarindo, they move into Conchal. You notice some of these properties are very expensive.
Yeah.
Ocean View, okay, but a lot of people complain Costa Rica is too expensive. I hear this all the time. Buying a property in Costa Rica, I'd rather. I think if you stay away from this, I guess, hot tourist areas, you're gonna find nice pieces of property with a lot of nice features. Maybe with the river, maybe with all things. Maybe a lot more affordable. Am I mistaken? Am I right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's just like the United States. Everybody knows if you choose to live in New York City or in Los Angeles, it's going to cost you a fortune to live in those places. And if you choose to live in another location that may be just as beautiful but very different, it's going to be a much lower cost of living. Well, the same thing happens in Costa Rica. Everybody sees these shows like House Hunters International, and they're always on there saying things like, oh, Betty and Bob are trying to decide between the $800,000 fixer-upper or the 1.4 million turnkey. And we all just laugh at that because it's so ridiculous. If you're in a tourist area, expect to pay tourist prices. But there are plenty of places where you can live. A lot of people will tell you, and this is a pet peeve of mine, Pablo, let me just share with these people. If you're moving to Costa Rica because you think it's a cheaper version of the United States, you're moving for the wrong reason. It is less expensive to live here if you become part of Costa Rica and you adapt to the culture, you adopt it as your home. But if you insist on only buying U.S. imported items for everything at the grocery store, of course your grocery bill is going to cost more. If you're living in the United States and you only buy Irish butter and Swiss chocolate and everything you buy is imported, it's going to cost a fortune. If you move here, buy Costa Rican or Central American products, you don't have to buy everything that you always knew in the United States. Colgate Palmolive is here. Buy the brands that are here. Go to the feria, the farmer's market. Buy all your fresh vegetables there. You'll save a ton of money. I can tell you, we miss nothing in our lifestyle of what we had in the States. We eat out. We have big parties. I cook all the time. We do anything we want to do. And we live on 25% of what we lived on in Texas. And Texas is one of the least expensive states to live in. So you can do it.
Of course. And once again, it's sometimes a shift of mentality. It's not it's not going to happen if you wanted to have the same product. I am 100% with you. You be able to adjust to a new culture, sometimes new habits. Of course, most Costa Ricans, most households make $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
So,
And they have a wonderful life. They have a nice life.
Most people could make in Costa Rica. Once again, Costa Rica might be a little bit more expensive than perhaps Panama or perhaps Ecuador. But in when you put other things, you consider other things like democracy or health, or be able to surround yourself with educated, an educated community, and a lot of the Costa Ricans also speak English. Costa Rica end up having a lot of advantages.
Exactly. Costa Rica is a more expensive Central American country, but you get what you pay for. And like you said, in Costa Rica, a stable government, a democratic government, excellent healthcare that rivals or is better than anything you'd find in the States. I mean, all those advantages, it's not to mention the fact, people forget this when they move. If you're moving to a lot of other countries, everything is 220 volts. You have to buy all new appliances. You have to buy new TVs. You have to buy everything new. Costa Rica is 120 volts, 60 hertz, exactly like the United States. So you bring all your stuff down. They just need to put it in one of your containers, Pablo, bring it down and plug it in. It saves a ton of money.
Yeah, it may be the intention in general, it's, whoever needs our services, great. If you don't need our services and you're coming with a suitcase, that's also great. We're happy to provide advice. And at the end of the day, I'm really happy that people are making their dreams. And sometimes people make it in Costa Rica, just like you. How many years in total for now?
10 years, full time.
10 years. 10 years, and you're not even thinking about moving back. But
no,
sometimes,
in fact, I don't call myself an expat. Really, that word means someone who's living in another country, but eventually, maybe a year, maybe 3 years, maybe 10 years, eventually they will return to their home country. Mm-hmm. I'm an immigrant. I have immigrated to Costa Rica. This is my home. This is where I will always live now.
Now, before we finish, I want to touch another subject. I understand you have a nice property in Orosi, and then you're also in business. So you are retired from your medical, life in Texas, but now you come to Costa Rica, you purchase a property, and you have an Airbnb. And this is a question that I get all the time. People looking to make, an income, maybe some passive income, maybe getting into real estate, maybe, they want to find out what other sources of income if they're not retired, or maybe even if they're retired, they will still want to do something. Just like you are doing many things. But can you tell me about your property? What is it to be in business? A little bit of that experience.
Well, until you're a legal permanent resident, you can't own a business in Costa Rica legally. But Airbnb is a U.S. business, and all the transactions are done through the U.S., and all the money is traded in the U.S. And because Costa Rica doesn't tax any income that's made outside of Costa Rica, then, it's easy for us to do that. When we bought our property, we looked, like I said, for 3.5 years. We have almost 4 acres of land and a river that runs through the middle of the property. And so it's just gorgeous, and we have gardens everywhere. And when we bought the place, we bought it for the property. The house was much bigger than we wanted and really was never even finished. It was going to be a hotel, and it was never finished and never opened. So we bought it, and I had a part in the back that was 1,100 square feet that we always called the apartment, because we lived in that for 4.5 years while I redid all the rest of the house. We now live in the other 2,800 square feet. So we have this whole area that's a complete living apartment, 1,100 square feet with its own private terraces, overlooking the river, hot tubs, and of course we have the swimming pool and all the grounds and the gardens. So people all the time want to rent the Airbnb so they can visit the area. But a lot of people who are interested in knowing this area to find out if it's the right area for them come and stay, not just for a weekend or for a few days. They come and stay for a couple of weeks to know the area. We're so centrally located. And so what's happened is we didn't do it to raise money. it's nice that we do make money off of it, but we did it because we had this extra space, and we thought it would be nice to meet all these people from traveling around the world that we could help like people helped us when we were trying to move to the country. We have made so many friends all around the world. We've had so many people who come back to visit us again multiple times. We've had people come. We've had guests from South Africa, from Denmark, from Holland, England, Canada, of course, Canada, the United States, and Mexico, all over South America, France, Germany. It's just everywhere. And there's Russia. It's been so nice, but it's a nice thing as well, because not only do you meet these nice people that you make friends with wherever, but it puts a nice little bit of money in your pocket. Mm-hmm. And so it's been delightful for us to be able to do it.
Okay. So if anybody wants to visit, you could look for Paradise Retreat in Kechi.
Yes, that's us.
Yeah. I'm putting that in the screen so people can see it. So people can meet you in person. Hopefully somebody sees this and want to meet you. And I know you are a great host. I know you do magic. You're a cook. I don't know if you cook for your guests.
Well, I tell you what, if they make a booking and they say they saw it here with you, I'll cook dinner for them.
Wonderful. And I wanted to, wanted to talk about business a little bit. I think there is not a lot of information about how to make an extra income in Costa Rica while you're in Costa Rica. Most of the people that we help, they're either retire or they have an income in the US, maybe digital nomads, and very few actually have, or created something just like you have done with your property. And I think, we can learn a lot from that. And I think our time is up.
Okay.
I'd rather, I like to thank you for the opportunity to talk to you. And I know we'll be seeing you again. We're perhaps going by the end of the year to your property. I still want to go and meet you in person in Odyssey in the next few weeks. And, thank you.
You're always welcome. And I appreciate and thank you for this great service, because you're so interested in helping people to know about Costa Rica, not just about your business, but because you truly have an interest in helping people. And that's really the only reason I agreed to do the interview, Pablo, is because of you and your kindness to other people. So I'm happy to be here with you.
Thank you.